What's up, traders? This is Vee Trades, and today I will be doing a technical analysis breakdown for MicroStrategy Incorporated with the ticker symbol MSTR. I will first be going over what I see on the daily chart and finish the video off with the weekly chart. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Please trade at your own risk. So yesterday night, guys, Bitcoin hit 100,000 and exceeded that. So it looks like it's finally in the six-figure club. We'll see how long it can stay there. It looks like it might be chopping back and forth between probably the mid $90,000 level and the low $100,000 level. Just because we broke it doesn't mean we're not going to fall back below it. We can definitely still fall back below it. It's just a number at the end of the day. And MicroStrategy had a nice gap up this morning at that 444 level, and then it has continued to sell off throughout the day. And let's go over the reason why, right? So it was looking pretty bullish from yesterday, especially with the Bitcoin breaking out for the 100,000, but it cannot exceed this prior swing right here at the 450 level. So that tells me that it's not as a strong breakout as it could have been, and we're seeing price continue lower. So let's go and clear up the chart. I'm just going to start fresh. So let's remove all the drawings. So that removed all the drawings. Let's go and zoom back in. So what do you see? Well, I see one leg down right over here, and then a two-legged correction, right? So you can see that we had a sharp drop down and then two legs up, one leg up right here, two legs up, almost a measure move target, right? Practically. And then that can mark the center of the pattern for another leg down, right? So we had an impulse. This is a complex correction that could lead to another impulse targeting the gap fill at the 275. So that's still back in play, right? Especially with today's selling pressure. So that's something to keep an eye on that can take place in the future, especially with this trend line right here that price can test as well. So we'll see if this trend line can stop the price from dropping, or even that support level on the higher prices, the 370 or 380 level. I'll go over that in a second. So overall, it's still looking like this could play out towards the downside. It's not over yet, especially because price cannot exceed that 450 level. So let's go intraday to see what's going on. So you can see that intraday price had a nice move up higher, basically almost met the measurement target by the bulls. So again, let me clear up the drawings once again. So what happened, right? Well, we saw one leg down right over here. This was the second leg down. Bears were targeting right around the 307 level, right? So that is the target using this measure move target. So if this was a prior impulse in the past, there's a good chance the impulse in the future can be the similar size, and that's where these measurement targets come from. So the 306 level, and price was in below this downward trend line right here, right? However, at the same time, price was barely getting below this 370 level. It was struggling to get below it. So this was a support level right over here, right? So let's go and draw that over, probably right there. So you can see that price was making lower highs, but the lows were not going any lower. And obviously, finally, price reached an inflection point where it was converging and finally broke up to the upside, right? So that was a good sign. However, it cannot exceed this high right over here. You can see that it got rejected from this prior swing high right over here. So since it's still below it, it tells me that the bearish measurement target is still in play, right? Towards that 307 level, and then the bigger one at the gap fill at the 270 level. So those are still in play. However, price is still above support, so it may not get there at the 370 level. Let's see if it can stop out. It can stall out at the 370 level, right? So overall, the chart was bullish, but again, obviously, it needs to clear these levels, right? If it cannot clear the level, then this bearish momentum is still in play, right? So this is still within the realm of being a pullback for more downside, right? Because it cannot invalidate this prior high right over here. So this tells me we can still see further downside for MicroStrategy. Looks like it's still selling off, probably coming back to that 372 level, 370 level. Maybe it'll make a test of it and then a continuation, maybe a double bottom. Again, that's a possibility. Maybe we'll see price cleanly break through it and then, reach that measurement target and possibly even lower. We'll have to wait and see. But overall, price was looking bullish, but you got to change your direction, right? You can't just be bullish forever, right? Because the market doesn't go up forever. You have to go with what the price action is telling you. That's why you got to follow the technicals. It keeps your emotions in check, right? A lot of people think, oh, MicroStrategy is going to go to $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 in a straight line, and that's not realistic, right? That's not realistic. That does not occur in the market. That's why when you look at the technicals, it keeps your emotions in check. Overall, it's still kind of neutral with a slight downward bias. We did have a nice pop-up higher but it died down, and looks like price is still trying to drop down lower. So let's take a look at that. I think the bearish target is still in play since it cannot clear that 450 level. So I'm looking for price coming back down to the 370 level. And if it doesn't hold that, I think we can see a mesh move target to the 309 level and then a gap fill at the 270. So those are the two targets or the three targets currently in play as of right now. And like I said before, we have this trend line right here that price can bounce off of even if it ever gets that low. And then we have a more steeper one, this one right over here as well, if price does get that low as well. So overall, long-term uptrend is still up or still looking bullish, right? We're still above the trend lines. This is not that large of an overextension from the market. I don't think that's the top. I think we're going to still see prices resume higher. But short term, it looks like this pullback is still in play. It's still in the realm of continuing down lower. Other things that people ask me about is when I expect the $1,500 price target for MicroStrategy that I got from this size impulse right here. This was the previous impulse. And if you extrapolate that in the future, that is targeting right around that $1,500 level, the 1550, somewhere between the $1,500 level and the $1,600 level. When do I think price can get there? Sometime next year. It's really hard to say, right? I mean, is it going to be summertime next year? Is it going to be Q3, Q4 of next year? It's hard to say. As of right now, I would say probably by August or September of next year, I would say. But again, if price does something else, then it could change the time zone, right? But as right now, it looks like sometime in the middle of next year, I would say. Could be sooner, could be later. But let's stick with that as of right now as just an estimate. And why don't I use Bitcoin? Why don't I also do Bitcoin analysis? Well, again, they're highly correlated. So if I can just look at one, it can generally tell you the direction of the other one. So even like, for example, today Bitcoin popped up to the 104 level, $104,000 level, and is pulling back as well to the breakout point. Same thing what MicroStrategy is doing right now. So again, they're highly correlated. You can look at one or the other to make your predictions. Now, what I think about the ETFs related to MicroStrategy, well, again, they're highly leveraged. So they're only for like short-term traders, like day traders, or even very short-term swing traders, maybe holding for just a couple of days. Because the longer you hold that and the more sideways price gets, the more you're going to lose, right? Because they have to roll over those, I think the contracts or whatever, they have to rearrange their the portfolio and stuff. So again, there's some decay in that. So whenever price trades sideways, it's gonna dive into those profits. So you want something just a quick move, right? You want to catch these swings where price is moving in a particular direction. If not, if it goes sideways like we're kind of seeing right now, or still pulling back, then that's when you could lose a lot of that money. So that's all I have for MicroStrategy and the daily weekly charts. Basically, expect a little bit more downside because price gapped up higher. It cannot exceed this prior high right over here, which was very important. It basically just made a quick move up and then it failed, right? It needed to maintain that bullish momentum. Now we're falling back, looking for the 370 level. If that doesn't hold, then again, the measure move target is still in play at the 307, and then the bigger one at the 270 level, right? Because all this is one leg down on a higher time frame, the daily chart, and this would be the start of the second leg, targeting the 270 level. Then some people might say, oh, we didn't reach the target, you were wrong. Well, again, obviously, you got to look at the support. Sometimes we'll probably bounce off the support. Bears might try again, fail, and then we can see a resumption of the uptrend. So that's why you have to monitor the price action, right? It's not just set and forget it. We're headed here for sure, right? You have to monitor what's going on in real time, right? Is the bears looking strong? Are we breaking support? Is the volatility increasing, right? You have to monitor the price action in real time. Just like over here, price was looking pretty bullish. All of a sudden, you see a big red candle followed by more selling. Well, obviously, you got to switch your bias, right? Now it doesn't look that bullish anymore. And sometimes it can, right? All you see is this side of the picture, right? The left side. And then you're making a prediction on what can occur with some possibilities. And in case this one did occur bearish, right? The bearish scenario played out where it did not clear this prior high with conviction, and price is still looking like it wants to continue trending down lower. So again, just a little bit more downside for MicroStrategy, looking for the 370 level. If it breaks, those are my two targets to the downside. And again, I'm not expecting a huge crash for MicroStrategy. I don't think that's in the technicals. It doesn't look likely. I still think overall the chart is bullish. We can also draw this uptrend line right about there. Overall, I think the trend is still very bullish. And again, Bitcoin just started out, right? It just broke 100,000. I'm expecting way more than that. And that's all I have for MicroStrategy today. And most likely, I'll give you guys an update tomorrow. This is Vee Trades, and thank you for your time.